Hello and welcome to another episode of Northside Now. This is the podcast where we take you on a tour through all of the ministries and the latest happenings around Northside Church to keep you better connected with your church family. My name is Patrick, and with me as always are my co-hosts, Glenn Miller and the prodigal Kevin Bryant. He's back.
Thanks for welcoming me back, brothers.
We missed you the last couple of weeks.
I missed it, but I've been enjoying catching up on the podcast. You had some really good conversations.
We did. We have had some fun guests lately. Some really informative ones.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy listening to the podcast too, so maybe I'm the only one.
I listen. I have to listen when it first comes out. I just gotta listen.
Yeah, it's like, who's going to be on next?
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's a cliffhanger.
I know Patrick used to listen to it
multiple
and
times.
You did too when you were editing.
Occasionally I do.
We've gone back and forth, so yeah.
I see you're wearing a particular color today.
And evidently Patrick missed the text.
Yeah, and I'm not supporting, but that was an interesting game, was it not?
Well, the game was
Which game are we talking about? That's like
Roll Tide.
Oh wait,
Roll Tide, yeah. So it was an interesting game. The funny thing has been the game after the game. All the social media posts and all the experts' comments and predictions for the future and all has been wild.
Well, and that's the most after game coverage that I've seen in a very long time of the field, or what was going on.
Let me tell you, it's just been wild. Yesterday they came out with a guy from Alabama who popped the girl on the side of her head, and now he's getting in trouble for that. And it was on video, and the lady that's selling the turf, she dug up. She went on dug up some grass, and now she's selling it on eBay. It's for like 99 cents is the starting bid on one of them.
Fantastic.
It just
So what are the public workers thinking about that night?
I don't know. Have they fished the goalposts out of the river yet?
Oh, we're going to have to take care of that.
They do have the goalposts up for Martin. You wonder if they'll tear them down after they beat Martin.
I heard that Tennessee had goalposts on order weeks before the game ever happened because they knew this was a possibility.
That's the thing. You knew this was going to, if they beat them, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not surprised at all. And
Tennessee's having to pay like $100,000 worth of fines or something just because of everybody rushing the field.
Well, no, it's because they're saying this is the second infraction where the first one was in 2006 at a men's basketball game where they rushed the court. And this is the second infraction. So it's 100,000 instead of, I guess, 50. Yeah. But I mean, from 2006 to 2022, there isn't a redo in there somewhere. It's a different sport.
It doesn't reset.
I'm pretty sure their response was, "It's worth it."
Well, actually, there is a video where they're doing the athletic director. And they're showing him, and he's like, "I don't care.
No,
it was worth every dime."
That's like $1 per person that was in that stadium.
Exactly.
That's right.
How much did those tickets cost?
They were.
I think they did all right.
I promise you, they didn't have any problem covering any of that. But that's big news, man.
Yeah,
big news. Actually, I'm a little bit surprised it happened. I just felt like Alabama's going to win till Jesus comes back.
I'm not even a big sports guy, but I actually watched the game, and that was a nail biter at the end because it was Alabama pulled back ahead, and then it was back and forth.
As a general rule, the whole college football season has been really good this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've seen better football. I've seen better tackling, and I think it's been more entertaining. It's been good all the way around.
Because they're paying the players now.
There you go.
You wonder. You wonder.
A little extra motivation in there.
It was definitely entertaining.
Yeah,
and
it was.
I was glad about that because it seems like those games in the past have just been very one-sided and just not as entertaining. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it's been fun to kind of watch the state kind of rally up together a little bit and give a little excitement. So,
and I like that when they won, they played Dixieland Delight.
I know
that's typically an Alabama thing,
but it's a song about Tennessee.
Alabama swears that it's about Alabama, but they talk about the Tennessee Byway in the song, and it's like, no, that's about Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know. Alabama, you've won a bazillion years in a row. You can claim anything you want, I guess. But
history is written by the victors.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's I think everybody's going, they can be beat. They can be beat.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. Well, that's been going on. That's exciting. And so we're a little bit closer to All Hallows Eve. So are y'all ready? Kevin, we haven't gotten a candy preparation update for your neighborhood in a couple of weeks because y'all been out. But are you getting closer to being ready for the onslaught?
Yeah, I'm just, honestly, I'm just bracing for impact. There have been a few costume ideas thrown out. Last year, we just decided we're going to get X amount of candy, and once it's done, we're done.
Yeah.
It did not last very long.
Yeah.
It was maybe 15, 20 minutes, actually.
Oh, wow.
So that's probably what we'll do again. And this year, we have to remember to get in earlier. I can't have anything else going on that day, and I got to get back home because I forget what it was. Maybe I was up here at the church.
Yeah, it was a church event was the same day.
Yeah, and so we got home, and we just couldn't get in the neighborhood, so I had to park down the street and walk, and then go get the car later. So that's a big thing. You know, we may walk around and stuff. There were broken down cars in our streets.
Yeah.
I mean, the police came through. I mean, it was just lots of activity. So I'm bracing for impact.
Speaking of braces, are you making a list of candies you're not going to be able to eat this year?
I don't know that I can eat much of anything, really. I can sugar, like sweet tarts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't chew them very well.
Yeah.
So,
but like
nothing
taffies out of the
no bit o' honey.
Oh,
no
bit of honey's
no
good.
caramels.
No, but I would like those. Those are one of my favorites. But no, any hard candies would be okay. I just can't chew them.
The old bit of honey.
Yeah, these braces are going to be on for a while, I think. Mm-hmm. But
and how was camping?
Camping was awesome. The end of camping was not fun, but we were in southern Indiana. I'd never been to this state park. It's O'Bannon State Park. It was actually, I forget the name of it before, but it was named after an Indian tribe. But it was renamed. O'Bannon was one of the governors, I think, there. But up in that area at that time, it was almost peak colors, probably.
Oh, wow. Cool.
It was perfect weather. And it actually did get, I heard you guys talking about this. We were tent camping, and there were a couple of campers. But I slept in the tent, and it got down below freezing.
Yeah, I got
the
cold.
last 2 nights. So I braved the first one, but then I woke up. We were there over the weekend, so I woke up Saturday morning, and I felt really dizzy. And just when I got up, when I sat up, and that was a momentary thing, and it cleared and passed, and we went hiking for, 8 to 10 miles that day. Did a lot of hiking, which was really fun. It's right on the Ohio River. So speaking of, we're going to be talking to Robin about the Jordan River and some other stuff. So it is a river. I mean, it's big, like the Tennessee or Mississippi in spots. And so we were hiking along the banks of that, which is really cool. And it's got rock cliffs and things right there. So it was some of it was a pretty aggressive hike, pretty advanced, and some of it was not. But really good hiking, really good time spent with some friends and my in-laws. And then Sunday, the day that comes to all the work where you got to pack up and go home, I was so dizzy I just couldn't.
Oh, wow.
I could barely stand up. And so, the vertigo has been with me since then. So it's hung on a little bit. We're not sure exactly what it is. It may just be a like congestion or sinus infection or something, but it's tied to the inner ear.
Yeah.
So if there's any issues in there, that can affect it. So I'm feeling a lot better now, but it kicked my butt for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah. If you've ever had it, it's more than just being dizzy.
Yeah.
It's really debilitating. You really don't feel like you can move at all.
Yeah.
You sit still, looking straight ahead, focusing on something. When you have a bout of it, that's about all you can do until it stops. There's medicines you can take and lots of other things. But for those of you that have had that before, you understand what it's like, and you just would rather do anything than be in that spot. So I'm feeling maybe about 85% now.
That's
90%.
good.
So we're working on getting that cleared up. But camping trip itself was awesome.
That's cool.
Campfire, cooked food,
Did you see Bigfoot out there at all?
I think I saw Bigfoot again.
Nice.
We saw him. We've just seen him all over the place.
He follows y'all around.
I think they're multiplying.
They may be.
I don't know. When they're in the wilderness.
They may be. You know, people have kind of left them alone, kept throwing Slim Jims at them and stuff. So.
Right. It was a good trip. It really was.
We're glad you're back.
I'm glad to be back.
We're also glad that the folks from the Israeli trip are back, or the Holy Land trip. They go not just to Israel. They go around a few other places. The cool thing is, we're going to talk with Robin in a minute, and I heard Pastor Gary the other day in the hallway talking about on the next trip that he's looking at for going. I don't know exactly when. They're going to do the Holy Land and then Egypt.
Ooh.
So the pyramids.
That's the one I want to go on.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Could you imagine going like right around Halloween over to the pyramids?
That would be so fantastic.
Being in there with,
lots of the mummies, the real
all
ones.
the mummy stuff.
Well, and the UFOs too, because the pyramids were built by the aliens.
That's right.
So.
And the forever seeing eye. Yeah. Set up above it.
Watch Ancient Aliens. They'll tell you.
Yeah,
Stargate.
Why? That kills me. That the History Channel plays more alien stuff than they do. Why is that on sci-fi?
They've had like 20 seasons of Ancient Aliens.
That just wears me out. That the History Channel's talking about the aliens.
It must be true.
It must be true.
History.
Oh, goodness. Well, before we get too crazy, let's invite Robin on in. And this was her first trip to the Holy Land. And let's hear how it went. And we're here with Robin Brandley. And Robin, recently you were part of the team that, or I guess y'all really weren't like a mission team, but part of the group that went over to the Holy Land, right?
It's called a pilgrimage.
A pilgrimage. Y'all made a pilgrimage.
Yes.
Was the name of your plane the Mayflower?
No, it wasn't. I don't think we had a name.
Well, that'd been good. That'd been good. Well, we were just interested in, you had never been before, correct? This was your first time?
No, this was on my bucket list.
And none of us have been. Have you been, Kevin?
I have not. Nope.
Patrick hadn't been. I have never been. So we were interested in a first-timer's point of view. So how was the trip just in general?
First thing I would want to say is probably it was a really long flight. Just the trip itself is very, very long. I know it's like 38 hours of flying time, or not really flying time, but just travel time.
Yeah.
A lot of downtime, a lot of waiting around time. But I don't know, just getting to go and walk where Jesus walked and really put skin on him was amazing to me. I think one of the biggest sights that affected me the most was going into the Garden of Gethsemane and just absolutely feeling his agony, feeling his fear, feeling that I don't want to do this, God. Please don't make me do this, God. I really could feel that.
Wow.
And even talking about it gets me a little weepy-eyed. But that was during the time we were having a little stuff going on here at church, and it was very meaningful, I think, to the people that we were with. And then seeing Gary go into the church there, and he was sitting by himself, and just, I know what he was praying for. And then Karen and I went in there with him and laid our hands on him, and we're praying for him and for our church. And that was real powerful for me.
Yeah.
But just the sense of knowing that Jesus was in that space at one time.
Yeah.
And how many people have been there since then. So, good Lord, there's just so much history there. You're walking on top of it all over the place.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the thing that I think I mentioned this when we talked to Gary a while back, but just in America here, when we think of things that are old, our history is only a couple hundred years old here. And so the oldest thing you're going to find is only a few hundred years. But over there, I mean, you're coming across things that are thousands of years old. It's
Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to wrap my brain around sometimes.
I know. I mean, even, I didn't realize that Jerusalem, according to what the tradition is that Jerusalem is sitting on the same mountain that Abraham and Isaac were on. So it's like you can put all the dots together, how God kind of, he's just got this plan, and it is amazing. It really is amazing. And then the Wailing Wall. Oh my goodness, that was electrifying.
Wow.
I mean, we were a little distracted that day because of the protests that were going on at the Temple Mount, which is on the other side of the Wailing Wall, and just getting to go to the wall and just, I put my hands on it and I say, Lord, I'm just so distracted right now. I just, I wanted to get the experience of the wall, and I just said, Holy Spirit, come. And when I said that, it was like, I was plugged in 220s. It just,
Wow.
I mean, honestly, I have no idea what I was saying. I know I was praying, and it was going on and on and on. And I recognized that I was praying for my grandchildren. I was praying for my family. I was praying for our church. There was this woman that was wailing on the side of me, and I started praying for her. But what I was saying, I have no idea.
Wow.
It was very spirit-filled.
Oh, wow. Now, y'all were there during Yom Kippur. So it's their New Year, the Jewish New Year. So were there a bunch of crazy celebrations and things like that going on as well? Because, I mean, you mentioned some of the protests. So was the city really full?
When we got there, I guess Sabbath starts at 5 o'clock on Fridays.
Yeah, something like that.
And then it goes through Saturday. So that Friday when we got there, and then that Saturday, it was like real quiet. But then the next day, it's just, there's thousands and thousands of people. And it's not just Israelis. I mean, it's Japanese and Germans and everywhere.
Yeah.
It was just lots and lots of people.
Yeah.
Pushing through, and so everybody was like, tailored to hang on to the person in front of us so we don't get lost. And there was a tailgate and a engine in front, and everybody was, we're all together. So,
what about the Sea of Galilee and stuff? How was that experience? Because I hear a lot of people talk about the Wailing Wall and the Via Dolorosa and those kinds of things, but it seems like everybody always talks about the Sea of Galilee, just how beautiful it is and those kinds of things. And that's where Jesus spent so much time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was around that sea or lake.
It is pretty.
Yeah.
We went out on a boat there and sang songs and read some of the Bible. But it was kind of funny because one of the guys, I guess every nationality has its own little flag, and so he made a big deal about putting the American flag up. So we were singing, the American, all of that. And so, yes, I found it interesting that the guide that was talking about the Sea of Galilee, and when they go swimming up there, that there's only like the eastern side they can swim on, because the other side is full of undercurrents.
Oh, okay.
And that they have problems with people drowning all the time. So you really have to know where you're swimming there. So, I didn't see anyone fishing, and I didn't see anyone walking on water. I wanted to, but didn't see any. But it's kind of cool where you can go around, and then you can see the Beatitudes up on the hill, and where he talked to Peter about, Peter, feed my sheep, where that was. And those are two places like almost together, but, one's up high.
Yeah.
So, that's just walking in the Bible. Really, you are. You're just experiencing for years what you've heard in the Bible, and all of a sudden it's like you're inside the Bible pages.
Did you learn anything while you were there that you had always thought was one thing, but maybe you learned something different because you were there?
Absolutely. I was really surprised that Jesus was not born in like a barn or, like a shed in your backyard. Yeah. No, it's everything's in a cave. Even the shepherds at night still will take all of the sheep and all of their livestock down into the caves at night. And so that is the story that I never knew,
Yeah.
you know, and I think just over the years of how the Bible has been translated, that it somehow became this barn.
Well, yeah, we have all of our nativity sets, and every
Yes.
single
Yeah.
one of them looks like it's a little lean-to, or something. It's
And you know what's funny is in these stores where they're selling these expensive nativity scenes that are made out of all this olive wood, they have the same nativity scenes that we do.
Because they
But
know we're going to buy them.
Yes. So no, that was interesting, and everything was more commercialized
Oh.
than I thought. Like, for instance, the Annunciation of where Mary heard from the angel that she's going to have a baby, and that particular place that it happened. You walk into a church, every little single thing that happened, there's a church over it.
Yeah.
And then there's an altar over that. That was surprising to me that, you just wouldn't walk up to an outside field or something. So everything had a church.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting when I think of Israel in general, but Jerusalem for sure, it's an interesting cross-section of so many different cultures because you have significance for Islam, for Christianity. You have Orthodox Christians versus Protestants. You've got Catholics versus, all kinds of things. I mean, I'm assuming you saw that there. You have Palestinians and Israelis. Anything that stood out for you in regards to that?
Not really. I mean, all the buildings to me, there was certain architect that you could definitely tell that was Russian, or you could tell it was some sort of, European style architect. But as far as noticing anything of the people, no, I did not see that much. There was different languages being spoken in certain churches.
Sure.
And they were singing in different languages, and it wasn't necessarily Israeli or Arabic. I don't know what languages there was, but it was so busy going from one place to the other. It was like you just really you could not get it. It was just so much so fast.
Yeah. Overwhelming, I bet.
Yeah, it was definitely overwhelming.
It'd be like going to Disney World at peak season or something.
Yeah. And trying to do it in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could have spent another week there and still not seen everything you need to see. And we didn't get to see a lot of things.
Yeah.
That one day they had that protest, they had to close the Temple Mount, so we didn't get to go up there.
Okay.
Well, one of the things I thought was kind of interesting was how, at least from some of the pictures that I've seen and stuff, is like everything seems so much smaller and closer together than it is in my mind. And I don't know, after reading, it's like you hear about the Jordan River and you think, I think like Tennessee River, but it's like a little creek, it's like, it's nothing. And I don't know, I've built these things up in my head so much bigger, and it's like even the Garden of Gethsemane is tiny, and in my mind it's this sprawling, so I don't know, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, we laughed because we're on the bus and he says, "Okay, here comes the River Jordan," and like you, I'm looking for the Tennessee River or the Mississippi, and it's like, in some places it's not even wider than this table right here, and it's like, why do y'all call that a river? And he said, well, you have to realize it never rains here.
Yeah.
So anything that has a running water in it is considered a river. And it's like, wow, that's interesting. There are some areas, mostly up in the northern part of Israel. It seems to be a little greener. They have lots of nurseries and lots of vegetation. But down in Jerusalem, it's just sand and rock.
Yeah. Now, what part of the Bible did y'all tend to stay focused on? Was it more like the Gospels and Jesus, or was there more Old Testament? Were you like, or just kind of had a general?
A little of both.
It was a little both.
Okay.
It just depended on the site that we went to. at the very first, we stopped at Mount Carmel,
Okay.
where Belle was taken out.
Yeah.
And, we saw that, but then a lot of it was about Jesus.
Yeah.
A lot of it is what sites have to deal with him. But, the Jordan River at the very northern part is really, really clear. And that's where we were that day when we remembered our baptism. And then
that'd be cool.
down there where John was and where Jesus got baptized, it's really dirty.
Oh, wow.
So just from traveling that length from the Sea of Galilee down towards Bethlehem, it's a little dirty.
Yeah.
So
Now, we're Golgotha and the Via Dolorosa. Is there a church up there, or do they have like a big cross up there, or is it very touristy, or how is that looking?
all right, this is the other thing that was interesting to me. So my vision of Jesus is on this big, huge hill. And they're way up there, and they're like, you got the two thieves on the side, and then you got Jesus, and you're looking up. But that's not the way it was. They put them at the road height, so when you're walking, you're seeing their faces.
Yeah.
So you're level with them. So that area is, I guess, years ago, like 500 or 600 years ago, people started taking stuff from that area.
Oh, wow.
And so now the tradition is that it's at this place, but our guide says that it couldn't be at that place because it's inside Jerusalem walls. And just from the fact of cleanliness and the smell and how it is, they would have to have these
Outside
people
the wall.
outside the walls.
Yeah.
And it'd be downwind from the city itself. So there's a place that we didn't get to go to, but it's a rock. It's a bunch of rock up there. So they were thinking that could be possibly. There's a lot of traditions, but is that exact?
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah, and you're in the very close vicinity of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Much closer
that's the
than
thing,
here.
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
You talked about, just touched on it just a little bit about the cleanliness. Obviously, we know with Jewish tradition, being clean is a super important part of ritual. You probably saw that very clearly.
as far as people, you could say that. But I was really surprised at just the land. There's a lot of trash.
Really?
A lot of trash. Undoubtedly, they don't have prisoners to pick up stuff like we do in Tennessee. But I was surprised at the lack of responsibility of whoever's in charge.
Right.
You know, that they just don't pick up after themselves at all.
Wow.
Well, I've definitely seen that in when I've been to Africa and some
Yeah.
other countries as well, that you just have a lot of trash, plastic bags. I mean,
Yes.
just lots of stuff all over the place. Did you see that when it comes to like Jewish folks or whoever that just would not, in terms of their personal space? That's something that's always been interesting to me when I've had Jewish friends and colleagues, that very particular about how they are ritually clean or not clean. And sometimes that's really surprised me. And, people during whatever particular celebration, not coming close to others. And just, that's fascinating to me when it comes to the Jewish tradition.
The one thing that was interesting to me on the plane when we were going over, because we left from Newark, so there was a lot of Orthodox Jews that left from Newark to go to Israel for that.
The New Year.
Yeah, the New Year. And 6 o'clock in the morning, they're getting their little suitcases out, and then they're putting all the wraps around their arms, and then they have that little, I forget what it's called, the little box.
The box on their
The
forehead.
little prayer box.
Yeah.
And then they have their shawls, and so they all go to the front of the plane. And they are up there doing their motion.
Prayers are there, yeah.
Yeah, their prayers. And they have to face the east every time. And so we were going east, so that's why they were at the front of the plane.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I've been exposed to Jewish culture, that's helped me is understand a little bit more about the time period and kind of the background of Jesus. Mm-hmm. I haven't been a Jew, but I've had some friends that I've learned to know a little bit about some of the celebrations and things. That just gives me so much more context about the whole story because Jesus was Jewish.
Yeah.
And it always surprises me that it gives me a little more clarity. So, that's what that meant when I actually see it right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
But you mean Jesus wasn't a Christian? You think he'll be in heaven?
I hope so.
Well, speaking of the cleanliness and uncleanliness and Jesus, y'all learned that Jesus was a dog person, right? I saw the picture of the mural with the dog sitting next to Jesus. So Jesus was a dog person. So
sorry, all you cat people.
Yeah.
All dogs go to heaven.
That was strange. I mean, there's cats everywhere.
I bet.
And then, I guess I only saw 2 dogs.
Wow.
2 dogs the whole
Really?
time I was there. And they were stray. We were visiting some site, and it was like sand and rocks, and they're just kind of running from you.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. That dogs are not clean.
Yeah.
they consider the cats
Clean.
animals because they'll clean themselves.
Uh-huh.
Dogs won't, so
No.
they're
Yeah.
unclean.
Was there any time that you felt unsafe or you like, I think a lot of times people think of Palestinian, Israeli
Right.
stuff, and
All the conflict.
there's a tank going down towards where David did something.
Yeah.
Did you see any of that or feel unsafe at any time?
The only time that I really got excited was when we were going to the Wailing Wall, and then you hear the gunshots on the other side of the wall, and that was a little alarming.
Yeah.
But I still didn't feel unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the people running, and they had their full gear on, and their hats and their machine guns, and they were all taking care of it.
Yeah.
And they did take care of it. So, and my son was with us, and of course he's a Marine, and he kind of went a little military on me for a minute.
Yeah. Well.
But I can understand why. I mean,
Yeah.
he heard the shots, and then he takes cover. That's normal for him, but we're just kind of standing there like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And he's saying, what are y'all doing? He did 2 tours in Iraq, and that was a little close to home.
Yeah. I'm sure it looked. Probably felt
Yeah.
a lot of times
Right.
the same. Yeah. So
Right.
Yeah.
especially with gunfire going on. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So,
Can't imagine.
Well, what were the things that when you come back with Robin and you're sitting at the house and or we're getting ready for Christmas or what are some things that it either cemented in your faith or really just blessed you in your faith journey after this trip? What are your takeaways from that just really hit home for you?
I guess that I just always had the knowledge of who Jesus was, but I just really saw him too as a human being, that he was a lot like us, that he still had the same fears, anxieties, what do I do next, God, kind of questions, and just knowing that he struggled.
Yeah.
Just looking at where he went up into the wilderness and was with the devil for like the 40 days and 40 nights. Just knowing that he had to do that, just life, and how we have that same thing. And what was his go-to was God. And I think that's what we're supposed to do. It's like, what do you want out of this trip? It's like, come and see. Well, you came and saw where I was, what I did, and now you need to pass that on.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So I just feel like it's, he's so real.
Yeah.
He's so real. I mean, he's not just somebody that you read in a Bible story.
Yeah.
He really existed.
Yeah.
And he wants to have a relationship with each one of us.
Yeah.
And how in the world he could love each one of us so much to do what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a dad of 7, I think that's one of the neatest and most challenging things that I've seen our kids go through, from knowing the stories, hearing the information, and then it's a switch that happens when you realize he was real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what I'm going through because he went through some of the same stuff. Growing up, I think you take in the information, but there is that point of realization where that becomes a game changer.
Yeah.
And that, if you can understand and accept and realize that really can change the whole way you look at the story of the Bible, but also your faith and how you walk it out.
Yeah. I mean, your whole life you've heard, well, Jesus loves you.
Right.
You know, and God loves you so much. But this just made it so real.
Yeah.
I could imagine that.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So you would recommend this trip to anyone who wants to go, right?
I think you need to go when you're young.
I have heard there's a lot of walking.
Yes, lots of walking. And it's not just walking on sidewalks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rocks, a lot of hills. You know, some of it's tough walking, hiking. I mean, I really think those sticks are really good.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had some. But yeah, a lot of walking. A lot of walking. Gary had said before we went, y'all need to start walking. I did not. But, you know, some of the ladies, it was hard for them to go up and down the steps because, you know, knee problems or whatever. Yes, a lot of walking.
I guess that counts me out right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure your little scooter would fit. And I think some of those passageways are pretty narrow, aren't they? They look like it in the pictures.
I don't even think anyone in a wheelchair could go.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's not like access for people that have handicaps. There's not.
Yeah.
There's steps and there's rocks, but there's not ramps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of ramps at all.
My scooter doesn't do too good off road right now.
Well, if Kevin will piggyback you,
There we
Yeah,
go.
we'll take
Y'all just
turns.
carry me.
I'll go and carry your little bag. So
Take you on a cot or a stretcher
there
through
we
the
go.
streets.
Yeah.
Lower you down through a roof.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, Robin, thanks for coming in and sharing with us, because it is so great to hear. I mean, like Patrick said, Pastor Gary has kind of come in and talked about the trip before, but what we love is to hear it from someone who's
Absolutely.
been there for the first time, because that would be the same impressions I would want to hear about. So
Yeah, it was definitely a trip that I'm glad I took. I really just wish King had been there, because King would have loved, because he was such a history guy.
yeah,
He would have
he would've
loved
enjoyed
to
that.
have said, oh, "Gosh, look what we're walking on."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he would have enjoyed that for sure.
Yes, I enjoyed it. Thank y'all for having me.
Well, good. Well, thank you, Robin, for coming in. Well, it sounds like we need to sign up.
Yep. I'm ready to go.
We could do a podcast from the Holy Land.
Oh, yes. On location.
Yeah.
That
A
would
whole
be
series.
So cool.
I'm down. Let's go.
That would be fun. We could do that. Straight from the Sea of Galilee.
Yes. All right. Which one of y'all is going to try to walk on the water?
I won't go very far, but I can try.
I'm glad that Robin got to go. And I know when the girls were growing up, our church in Rockwell went, that's when you could bring bottled water back.
Oh,
And we'd bring it back, and they'd put a few drops in every baptism. So everybody that got baptized had a little bit of the Jordan River in their baptism. You know, it's symbolic and it's silly, but at the same time, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
We're suckers for stuff like that. Right?
That could be meaningful.
Yeah.
I mean,
but after 9/11, that changed. You couldn't do that anymore. But I would love to be able to go and just walk where Jesus walked. It may not be the exact spot. I might be a foot over, or who knows, you know?
yeah.
Or any of the people from the Bible, just to know. And I guess for me, that's one of the things I love about Pinson Mounds. Is one of the things when I first went to Pinson Mounds, the ranger that was doing the little thing that, you know, you look down in the little glass case deal and there's the bones down there of the Indians, and they're like, so while Jesus was going on, and these Indians were here building mounds and living right here in West Tennessee. And I was like, that makes this really real.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, some people may not know what Pinson Mounds is. So.
Yeah. Our Indian mound builders
Yeah.
from, it's not a little community. not too far away from us. And
Yeah, and you can climb them.
Climb.
You've got a great museum there.
they got some great trails.
Yeah.
Unlike the ones in the Holy Land, they're nice and clean.
Right.
And no rocks on them.
You can take a
wide.
scooter on those.
And,
Yeah.
they're nice and wide.
Yeah, so if you haven't been out there, I really encourage you. That's a great place to visit.
It's a good place.
Really.
Yeah.
If you got questions, you can ask Jordan. Jordan's working out there. So.
Jordan Mathenia.
Yeah, Jordan's worked out there for a couple of years now. He works in the museum,
So he will tell you things like what
Yeah.
the person told us.
and he will sell you stuff from the gift shop if you want.
Yeah. I saw somebody not long ago, the little spear throwing thing.
The atlatl.
The atlatl.
Yep.
They were out there trying that out.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
I think it was Jake and Sydney Nichols.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
That's fun.
They had it on their Facebook page or something.
Yeah.
And I thought about y'all and Jordan and them. So, yeah, I know that Gary's talking about doing more of these trips in the future. So when you hear about them around the church, definitely hook up because they are life-changing moments.
As I was listening to Robin, I was thinking about the conversations we've had, especially around The Chosen,
Yeah.
where just seeing that, of course, that's on screen. So seeing that those relationships really brings the scripture to life.
Mm-hmm.
Even more so if you were actually in the place where it actually happened.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I am excited to experience at some point, I hope, is just to be able to bring that context of the Bible. We know the Bible is a cohesive story that leads to Jesus. As I get older, I'm learning that more and more, but sometimes it feels like a piece here and a piece there and a piece here and a piece there. We talked about this at Easter, where the garden is positioned to the city and that it's really not that far away.
Yeah.
And what could you actually see from the garden? I mean, you could see the soldiers coming before they even got there.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things really start to bring it alive, just like a movie would to a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would think would be the coolest part is that, I've built up this kind of, reading it, you kind of build an image in your mind,
Sure.
but seeing the reality of it, that's like one of the main reasons I would want to go is just to be able to put the actual place in my mind.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I know it's on Barbie and I's projections somewhere down the road. I hope we get to it before we can't walk well. Because it sounds like that's a deal. It is a neat deal. And, the funny thing, she was talking about the nativity on our mantle. We got a new nativity last year that's actually a caved one.
Is it?
It's a cave. We have a couple of the others but it's an actual cave one. It's the centerpiece of our nativities at the house is that one.
That's cool.
So there are a few of them out there. And speaking of nativities and things, we are about to have a lot of fun stuff coming our way.
Yeah,
But
it's almost nativity season
almost
here at
nativity
church.
season. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
He's going to be here before we know it. So, Patrick, what do we have before it's nativity season that's coming along?
Well, before nativity season, we've got spooky season. It's Trunk or Treat on October 30th from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. right here behind the church. You got candy, you got games, you got corn dogs.
Popcorn.
Yeah, popcorn, all sorts of costumes. Yeah, it'll be fun.
It's a fun night. Come have fun with the kids.
Yes.
Yeah, that's part of the fun is just watching the kids.
It is.
I think. And seeing Patrick in a costume.
Except when
Last year was a particularly peak. I don't know that I'll be able to outdo myself.
I'm telling you, I was very impressed.
Then on November 20th, that Sunday, it is Thanksgiving breakfast. Yay! It's back. We're going to start at 8:30. Serving lines are going to be in the gym. We're going to eat in Hope Hall. And then we're going to migrate to the sanctuary for a joint service at 10 o'clock that is going to be led by our children and our youth.
Yes.
They're going to be doing all of it. They're going to be singing. They're going to be ushering. They're going to be preaching. They're going to be doing everything. So
Awesome.
Working on that now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting.
it's been a while since we've done a service like this. So.
A little while.
I think the last time I was a child involved in it. And then on December the 2nd, there's going to be a parents' night out. So that'll be good. It'll be from 5:30 to 8:30. It's for kids 8 weeks to 10 years old. The cost is $5 per child with a $10 max per family. So, If you're like the Von Trapps and you have a whole slew of kids, or the Brady Bunch, you can just bring them all.
That's right.
And let me tell you, that's a deal, because I have daughters and they babysit a ton and have over the years. And let me tell you, they don't get paid no $5 an hour. They get paid a lot more than that. So that's 2 deals.
Yeah. So if you just need a night off to
Exactly.
have a date night, take a nap, whatever, go do some Christmas shopping, whatever you need to do. That's December the 2nd. Then on December 4th, that Sunday, we will have Jingle Jam at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. So there'll be games. There'll be, like hot chocolate and cookies, and there'll be Christmas songs. It'll just be a good Christmas celebration with the church family.
Jingle Jam.
Yeah. And we encourage ugly Christmas sweaters.
Yeah.
Yes. Or just festive attire,
Yeah. Come in your colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or moose rabbits.
That too.
There's
What is a moose rabbit, and what does it have to do with Christmas?
That's a jackalope.
He was there last year.
Was he?
Yeah.
I must have missed it.
Ah.
I'll have to keep my eye out for the moose rabbit this time.
How did you miss that?
I don't know. And then on December the 11th, the next Sunday, will be the children's Christmas musical, the Christmas Express, and that'll happen in Hope Hall at 6 o'clock. So you don't want to miss the kids' Christmas musical.
So is that going to be on a train?
As far as I know, there's a train on the poster, so I'm going to assume yes.
Are they going to be singing hot chocolate?
There'll be a French speaker with a big mustache.
Yeah, I was going to say it's basically just going to be the Polar Express, but I don't know anything about it, so I shouldn't say that.
Hey,
don't want to give false expectations.
if it is, that's okay.
Yeah. And then the following weekend will be the Christmas Cantata weekend.
Aha.
So we will have one performance on Saturday night, December the 17th at 7 o'clock. And that'll be open to the community and anybody that wants to come. So anybody that can't be there for Sunday morning, make sure you tell them to come on out Saturday night and get to experience that service and song. So
Does it have a name, or is it Christmas Cantata?
it is called A Service in Song.
Okay, cool.
So...
All right. I mean, I know a lot of times they have names, and I just didn't know.
Yeah. And then that Sunday, December the 18th, we're going to be doing a performance of the Christmas Cantata as well. We're going to do it a little different. We're just going to have one joint service again at 10 o'clock. And so there's going to be one performance Saturday night and then one performance on Sunday morning.
And Sunday school
will be at
before.
9 o'clock on that Sunday.
Got it.
So if you're going to have a Sunday school party or gathering or something, you can do that.
It's a perfect time to do it.
You can do it anytime you want to, but
Yep.
if you want to do it Sunday morning, you can bring donuts.
I'm going to start a Sunday school that we just have a party every week.
Just bring donuts every week.
Yeah, just
and
every
party.
week is a Sunday school party.
That's pretty much Hope Hall after the service.
That's true. And then December the 24th, Christmas Eve services.
Yay.
That's 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So you don't want to miss that. And then Christmas is going to be on a Sunday this year.
It's on the 25th, right?
I'll have to check my calendar. I think
Yeah.
I think it lands on the 25th this year.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's a Sunday this year. So we're going to, again, have one joint service at 10 o'clock. This one's going to be in Hope Hall. We're going to get to go to church on Christmas, which is kind of
that's
cool.
awesome.
You know what we need to do? When people leave, we need to hand them a piece of birthday cake.
Oh,
Jesus' birthday. Happy birthday, Jesus cake.
I like it.
That's a good idea.
I never say no to cake. So
Just big old birthday cake out in Narthex.
Or just put petit fours again.
Yeah, that would be good. See, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I like it.
So that's kind of what we've got coming up, at least for the Sunday schedule and little events coming up.
That's
so.
all?
Well,
That's a lot.
yeah.
That's awesome, though.
Well, we've also got some really good stuff coming up on the podcast. So, Glenn, tell us a little bit about what we've got coming up.
Well, we've had some great people, but we got some fun ones coming as well. Now, it's almost the World Series.
Yep.
And because you guys are really into collecting and stuff like that, well, not a lot of people know in our church, Mr. Ed Ellis, a lot of people know him, but he has an incredible baseball collection. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and collecting and the World Series and baseball. And we have Mr. Brian Brown coming. Actually, it's Dr. Brian Brown.
Dr. Brian Brown.
And he's going to be sharing some stuff about a book that he has coming out next year and some of the cool stuff that he deals with and talks about. The week of November 10th, we have Nancy Gay coming in. She's going to talk to us about the Thanksgiving breakfast and the history of that and some great instructions for the upcoming one. And then one of my personal favorites that we have, November 17th, my friend Missy Buchanan, who is a writer for Upper Room Books and writes on the subject of aging and the elderly and stuff. She's going to call in and we're going to have a conversation with her about the elderly and the holidays. And how that can be a great time of celebration, but it can also be a lonely time and a downtime for them. So she's going to be a lot of fun to interview. It's going to be fun to talk to her. And then y'all, coming up on December 22nd, that will be our 100th episode that we're going to have for Northside Now. And we are not quite ready to share with you all the goodness that is going to be coming.
Come on, can we let it out of the bag yet?
Should we? Okay, how about let's just do a live broadcast?
A what?
A live within studio audience.
Yes.
A live studio performance.
There we go. On YouTube, and it's going to be a blast. A big celebration. And we'll have some special guests drop by. And
So how can we get tickets?
ooh, well, we are...
I'll put my Venmo link in the show notes.
No, wait, it's supposed to be mine.
Okay.
No, but
We'll put all 3 of our Venmo links in there, and then we'll know who you like the best by who gets the most.
But we are going to need studio audience.
Well, yeah, we are going to need a studio audience, and we are going to have some special guests hopefully come through, and so we will be getting some
information
how to get
out,
signed in for that, and that will be fun. So it'll just be a good fun day of Northside Now, and there may even be open tours of the podcast room.
Yeah.
You know,
Are we finally going to reveal its hidden location?
know.
we'll see. We can blindfold people and lead them in here. But yeah, we have a lot of fun coming our way. And I believe, during the holiday season, during Advent, we're going to be doing the characters of Christmas. Mm-hmm. And a little birdie told me that some of those characters may be coming through the podcast area and dropping by to share their story with us on the podcast. So we may get to meet some of them.
I'd love to meet them.
So that will be fun. And you just never know. It's going to be the holidays. Who knows who will drop by? And again, Kevin has mentioned this multiple times. We're getting around to a new year. And we've done 100. We will have done 100 episodes. And are you enjoying the people we're having in, or is there another way you'd like for us to go? Is there something you would like for us to talk about, or someone you'd like to bring back and have a little more discussion about something? Or, are we all ready to watch Patrick do some Evel Knievel jumps on his little scooter?
Let's go.
So let us know if there's anything you're interested in. Seriously, let us know. We would love to have your feedback on things. It really does help us. So fun schedule coming up.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks for podcasting with me. And thanks to all of you out there in the world for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at Northside Now Podcast. Go to our website, northsidejackson.com, or email us at podcast@northsidejackson.com. We hope to hear from you soon. Once again, this is Patrick.
It's Glenn.
I'm Kevin.
And that's what's happening at Northside Now.
Bye-bye.